Okay, we've got a guest here from Long from upstairs or around the corner.
No, I mean, she made her trip all the ways here from the upper bedroom. So it's Reagan Christopher.
Hi, Reagan. How we doing?
Good.
Good. All right. Give me the lowdown on school. What's going on? Give me one thing you learned today in school. One thing that you didn't know that you learned today.
Division.
Division, like, give me a division problem that you learned.
12 times 3
Is
4.
Yeah.
That's-
Good. Yep. All right.
Oh, that's 12 divided by 3 is 4.
Four.
Yes.
There you go. There you go.
We're gonna
That's
leave it
good.
at a win right there. Say bye to everybody.
Bye. All right. Sure, the family will bring you in sometime for a longer conversation.
All right.
Right. So what have you
That
been
was
up to?
that was officially our first guest.
First guest. So,
on the show that has no name.
right. So
But
what's been
basically
keeping you
famous.
busy the last 2 weeks besides, I mean, obviously work, right?
Yeah, so so that's it. Basically, I was in Tennessee 2 weeks ago for work, which was interesting. My first women's conference I've ever been to. So that was
Oh, wow.
well, it was women's, but it was, kind of a women's support conference, and
Yep.
we ended up having meetings and all that stuff. It actually turned out to be a good conference.
So did you get downtown?
Remember
much?
when we went to the family, when Mom and Dad took the family to was it, Pigeon Forge, Tennessee?
Yeah.
Yeah, so turns out we were 7 miles from Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. It was in fact, when I left the conference, I maybe or maybe not snuck out early, and I went to the Mexican place that I met Mom and Dad at with Olive and the kids. When remember when we got there too
Yep.
early
Yep.
and
Yep.
like, what are we gonna do? So we sat and drank margaritas at this Mexican place. So turns out I was like, well, I should probably go check that place out.
Right.
Well, the
Yeah.
food's actually good
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Not just the margaritas.
You didn't
So
come back with any moonshine or anything like that?
I flew.
No.
So
Would
short
not have
answer,
happened there.
no.
Yeah. So,
So
all right. Good.
that was last week, and then this week, I don't know if you've been to the Northeast, but if you've ever driven around the Northeast, I went to like 5 states in 3 days this week. So
Just touching the corners of each one of
I
them.
didn't touch it. Well, I count DC as a state, not a
Yep,
state.
yep. Yep.
That's the 5th. But I mean, it's amazing in the Northeast. You can just drive and be in the next state within an hour.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
funky.
Yeah.
But,
The best
how
thing we
about
have.
you?
The best thing we have is, we can go to Dubuque and we can go to Illinois, Wisconsin. With it, we can be in 3 states in 5 minutes, but that's about as good as we can be. So, no, I made a trip.
But it's the same thing. It's just
Yeah.
crazy. It's like you're like, I drove through Delaware and Jersey and DC and Virginia and Maryland, and I'm like, well, that was today. It wasn't that extreme. But
like in Iowa, it's like driving
time.
through 4 different counties in one day. That's kind of what it's like. So,
yeah, but
we got family moving your way.
Well, wait. So, what have you been up to?
You've been to South
Have you seen the
Dakota.
grandkids now that you're old?
No. We were in South Dakota a couple weekends ago, so for homecoming, and so they, in order to support their athletic program, is they sell beer called Ears Up because they're the bunnies. So I had some. The neighbor had some a while back, and CJ and I went down to his place and had beers on the deck. I think it was in the summer or something like that. And so CJ's like, bring back some Ears Up some bunny juice. So I had to buy some. It's okay. It's just they just selling it so they can give money to their athletes, I guess. So went there, saw Kenzie, and did all that fun stuff.
So that was like a fundraising thing?
Well, no, we went up for the homecoming stuff like that. But they sell beer at the stadium and in the grocery stores that is South Dakota State beer. So
I don't know if I told you this. So the neighborhood, like I live in a neighborhood that's big on like baseball. And, like they're pretty good too. And a couple neighborhood kids play it and they're real good. And they do these fundraisers. So so a couple months ago, maybe a year ago, one of my buddies was like, "Hey, you want to go to this bingo thing?" And I was like, "I mean, I love a good game, but like, what the hell are you talking about?" Turns out it was gun bingo. Like they gave out 50 guns
Oh,
that night,
wow. And you didn't
and
win.
so well, of course not. I just spent all my money and didn't win anything. But so they had enough. So, anyways, they raised a bunch of money. They raised like 15 grand for these kids one night because a bunch of hillbillies like me show up and like, oh, look at me, I got camouflage on. Or whatever.
Yeah.
And so we went to another one and we drew in a bunch of other friends and we didn't even know what the reason we were there was. It was just gun bingo.
Yep.
We lost again, but we're going again on November 4th. So I'll take some pictures and send them.
Yeah. Make sure that that'll be
I
part
basically have bought like 3 guns, but haven't won one. So there's that.
Yeah, it'll eventually it'll catch up to you and you'll be able to get.
But you're safe when you walk into that place. Like you don't need to have anything on you, and you're like, this is probably the safest place within 50
Yep, and
miles.
everybody in here knows how to use. It's just not like
it's pretty funny though. It's pretty hilarious because it was like you look around and it's everybody you think it's gonna be.
Yep, that's right. The stereotype fits, right?
Oh yeah,
so the girls are gonna do what for Halloween? So we're right in prime Halloween costume age, aren't we still?
Yeah. We bought them. I can't remember what the hell they are. Well, but Reagan does this blow up stuff, like.
So do you actually go down on Halloween, or you guys have it like this weekend, or how does that work?
Well, we have a trunk or treat tomorrow at the school, which sounds amazing.
Yep.
And then, but Halloween, the neighbors do a good job. They usually host like in the driveway.
Yep.
And then, I'm basically 12, so I always dress up.
Yeah,
so
of course.
Last year I was at Maverick. Who's the other guy? Iceman or something.
Oh, sure, yeah, from Top Gun. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I was that guy. So this year I'll dress up with the girls and all that stuff. But they're going to be, who knows? I forget. We ordered it.
That's right.
I don't know. Then we had to get a ballet Halloween thing.
Oh, wow.
Reagan's big blow up thing. You can't do ballet in that thing. So.
Right. So, well, you got to enjoy it because probably in a couple of years, Reagan will go, I don't want to do it. And then you'll have to worry about
it. I'm not going to allow that.
She's got to do it.
No.
Right.
They chose me this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
good.
Good.
Well, yeah. So Halloween, we CJ and I went over to Heather's a couple of weeks ago to hang up TV for her. She putting the TV
like adult Halloween over there, huh?
Yeah. Right. And she's got the stuff. She's got the good
Maggie
stuff.
does?
No, Heather does.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. She's just like I walked in and go, okay, this is just like Mom's house. It's exactly.
I thought you said CJ. Okay.
No.
CJ,
Yeah, CJ and I went to go hang a TV, but you could see all Heather's.
So let me ask you. So is CJ and Maggie doing the Halloween thing yet?
I'll put it. They have fall decor out, and I said something to him about handing out candy. I'm like, no, I'm going to shut off the light and I'm going to be in the basement. So,
you loser! He's not a Christopher. Leave that guy.
Right. It's just trying to give him a bad time about that. So
is Maggie not a Halloween person?
I think she gets enough of it at school, so she's like, okay, I don't. And they're not. They're in LaPorte, so they don't know many kids. It's like, okay, if they maybe knew kids that were in the neighborhood, but it's like, nah, not a big deal. She gets enough of it, I think, at school. With losers. Everything then too. So
that's loserish.
Yep.
So you and Sharon have been known to like dress it.
Oh yeah. I mean, if we get invited to a party,
what are you guys doing? Like,
no, we'll both answer the door. Ours is 5:30 to 7:30. So we'll put some soup on and we'll have some, and yeah, we'll entertain the kids. It's supposed to be cold and yucky here. So we'll see.
When did you know you were 90? Like I have 5 crock pots going on Sundays for being 2 kids that don't eat anything.
Right. Yeah. They just sample a little bit. So
yeah.
So this Sunday is the big Christopher Sunday here for us locals. We go to Mom and Dad's to carve pumpkins.
So that's right.
So that's this Sunday, but we got to kind of do it kind of in shifts because Christopher,
Because there's like 90 kids.
well, no, because everybody's on a different schedule. Everybody, some people are coming early because they got to get back and do something Sunday night, and other people are working and then they have to come there. And so yeah, mom and dad's we'll be in the garage this year because it's gonna be so cold on Sunday night. So yeah, you'll see some pictures, I'm sure, snapped out about what everybody's carving. Your girls carve or they just paint their pumpkins?
Worst dad of the year. So we haven't even got pumpkins yet.
Oh, okay, all right. Well,
I figure one day this weekend we'll go get pumpkins before Halloween.
yeah, Walmart sells them for like $5, so I think you're covered. So
yeah, no,
you're covered.
They keep asking, and I'm like, we'll get them. Yeah, awesome. We're gonna carve them, and it's gonna be great. So I'll figure that out one day. But
yeah.
I'm more excited for Halloween than they are. I'm pretty sure.
Even though it's like, okay, let's not have too many kids come and then we can have the extra candy. It's like, okay, make sure.
We just leave the thing out there.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And then we put cameras around it to make it look like we're watching them, like fake camera.
Yes. Yeah.
We're like, hey, we're watching. Then I have all these stupid things that move when you show up, like
Yeah.
And then the candy's gone, and by the time we get to the house, and then we just go down the road and
mom and dad will be ready. They're all ready to go. They give out the Tootsie Rolls, the Knights of Columbus Tootsie Rolls, so they'll be ready to go. I've already seen they're ready to go.
Yeah, I know they used to like dress up and sit as like scarecrows.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure dad could probably just sit there and be himself and scare the shit out of a bunch of kids.
Or just sit there like he's sleeping.
Oh, that old guy's dead. That old guy's dead. No, he's not dead.
No, he's not. He's not dead. He's not dead. He's not dead. So yeah,
it's pretty funny though. But it's kind of obvious truth right there. But who knows?
Yep.
So are you guys doing a party in the neighborhood?
No, not this year. Not this year. We have our card group on Saturday night, so I don't know. That's more. We'll have some Halloween stuff around, but nothing, no costumes or anything like that. So your Phillies are choking dogs. Is that the deal?
Yeah, that's a bad deal, isn't it?
So
I got to be honest. I had already bought World Series tickets in my head. I was like, I'm just going to bite the bullet. It's going to happen. I can't wait. I'm going to take all of. And I think the last two games, they went the top four guys that, we paid like, I don't know, let's call $1 billion. I think they went 1 for 28 or something stupid like that. Like, if you're going to be a slugging team, then you got to hit the ball. and I hate to say it that way because I'm a huge Phillies fan, but it was so disappointing. And if you I've heard some of their interviews, oh my God, they are disappointed as well.
Yeah.
But I think everybody in this town had the expectation, it's a done deal. We're going to the series.
Yeah, especially when they got ahead 2-0. And then they tied it up, but hey, they won game 5. But and then
they just stopped hitting the ball.
Yeah. And that's what happens is like, how can you stay consistent throughout that long a series and stuff like that?
I can't tell you how disappointed I am on that.
Oh yeah, well, and just listen to other people around that. Yeah, the level of disappointment is pretty profound. It's even higher than like when the Eagles lost the Super Bowl or the Sixers lost.
Well, this was the team. I mean, so I didn't grow up a huge Phillies fan. I kind of liked them, but you live out here a decade or more. You're kind of like, okay, they grow on you, and then you fall in love with them. And this team I fell in love with.
Yep.
And I still love them to death. Because if you watch the news outlets, they are telling the news I failed. I failed the city. It's a totally different environment than the pitching was great and I screwed up. They own it. And
especially I noticed Bryce Harper really owned it. He's
so did Nick Castellanos. Some of these guys are just we went cold at the wrong time.
Yeah.
If you're gonna bag on, if your whole season's based on hitting home runs, and you don't touch the ball for 2 games
Right.
when it matters, then
Yep.
that's kind of how that works. It's
Yep.
called
Yeah, and they
baseball.
they had decent pitching. That they did in game 6, but in game 7, they had decent pitching. They had enough
Listen,
to
their pitching is good. Like
Yeah.
Ranger Suarez, we actually were able to go to Wrigley Field to see him before we came to your place.
Yeah.
So we
Wheeler's
saw
good.
Ranger and Wrigley this year, and I love Ranger. I think
Yep.
Wheeler's good. Nola's Nola, you know,
Right.
on and off or
Right.
whatever. But they got good pitching.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
They just we
Yep.
couldn't hit the ball.
Nope, and
You
that's
can't-
what happened.
You can't score
Yeah.
1 run in the NLCS and expect to win.
Yeah, not the last 2 games, that's for sure. And so it'll be the World Series that no one probably watches, probably.
No, I don't even know when it is. Like it just opened up my schedule 100%.
Yeah,
This
'cause
weekend, I'm gonna go hang out with the girls and do pumpkin stuff. and, like,
right, yeah, because Friday night, I think it was, they play. I don't think it starts Friday night, but so that's
oh, it does
So-
start Friday. I knew
think
that
so. Yeah, so
before, but
tomorrow
I
night,
don't.
so now it doesn't matter. Why? Well, it's just be like white noise in the background with that too.
Yeah.
So all right, you want to take a victory lap where your Vikings beat my Niners on Monday night?
I'll tell you what, Kirk Cousins, everybody bags on that guy. He played well.
Yeah, he did. After the first, I mean, the first pick wasn't really his fault, anyways.
Yeah, but he does that a lot. He just never wins the games.
Right. Yeah.
I think we talked last time about your Niners, how good they looked.
Yeah. Now they've
They-
lost 2 in a row.
Yeah, well, since then they've fallen apart. Like
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I'd rather look like the Vikings looking like crap
Right,
in
right.
first. I don't know. Niners are still studs.
They'll be
but
okay. Oh, hopefully they have a game this weekend. They got the Bengals this weekend, so the Bengals will want that one pretty good. And Purdy's in concussion
Yeah,
protocol.
he's
so-
not used to losing in the NFL. Like, is that the thing, or what's his deal?
I don't. I think what I noticed is not so much in the Cleveland game, but in the Vikings game, he started to because I saw him play a fair amount at Iowa State. He started to look like he did at Iowa State. Flashes of good, but also making some decisions like, okay, why are you throwing the ball there? You missed that guy by 5 yards, and then
Is he
it's a pick.
freaking out?
No, I
Is
don't
he
think he's
freaking
freaking out. I just think sometimes he makes bad decisions, So,
That
and
doesn't
obviously it
matter.
hurt that Debo wasn't playing too for the Niners,
Yeah,
I mean,
but
he
that's
covers
one
up-
thing.
I know, but he kind of
Justin
changed.
Jefferson wasn't playing either.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that. I mean, he's
Right,
kind
yeah,
of a
and-
good
and, well,
player. I
Kirk
don't know
Cousins-
if you've seen that guy, but he's kind of good.
Yeah, I would take Kirk Cousins over Brock Purdy, to play quarterback too. But yeah, he didn't. Hopefully, it's just a couple bad games or one bad game. He didn't played okay against Cleveland, but yeah.
No,
I mean,
we kind of touched on it before. It's like, do you want to start fast and slow down, or do you
Right.
want to
yeah,
pick up the pace?
right. And
I
if
think
you have a
I've
little
seen some
low,
teams, like even the Jets. Look at the Jets, man. How many times they got bagged on? They just beat the Eagles. They won again last week.
Yep.
Like, okay, now they're talking about, are they going to win the division with Pretty Boy? Like, come on now.
just slow. Well, it's so extreme. You're either really good or you're really bad. There's no kind of, hey, we're just kind of up and down. We're trying to find our way. It's week 7. That's the other thing to keep in mind is that now with 17 games, that's a lot of long.
I was just thinking that, like,
No.
16 is a long time, but you add another game, it's like you don't even know how good you are until 10 games into it. You're like,
Yeah.
am I decent or not?
Yeah. And how good, how good are we and who have we played and this and that. And yeah, it's thinking about November and we're not even hardly at the halfway point.
So who's the first coach that's going to get fired in the NFL?
Oh, that's a good
I have
question.
I have my eye on a guy. Probably know who it is.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. Because some of them.
You've been watching the Chargers.
Oh yeah, the Chargers. Yeah, I would say that.
Let's go on it. It's 4th and 1 on our 25.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and gamble.
I don't see there's any way he keeps his job. I don't.
Here's the problem.
Unless they turn it
Is
around.
Staley, I think that dude thinks he's like the Phillies or the Eagles coach. He thinks he's like the Rams coach. He thinks he's like these guys like, the Dolphins. What's his name? I forget.
Yep.
Oh, I love that guy, by the
Yeah.
way. But he thinks he's like super genius like that. But
Yep.
every time you do something, you fail at it. Like
Right.
at some point, you got to like go away.
Right. And obviously,
I'm
I
a
mean,
huge Chargers fan.
right. Yeah. Compared to, the Philly coach, he just doesn't have, he doesn't have people who can back him up, when he makes an aggressive decision like Philly does. They'll go, the other night they were going for it on fourth and
Who's
fourth and
stopping?
one. Yeah.
Who's
I mean, they
stopping?
can't stop that play. So why wouldn't you just keep doing it? Just keep going and keep going and keep going. At
So
least
I
you can.
said this last year. I said it last year. Shit, before everyone figured this out. I was like, I think it's the right tackle is a rugby player.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Kelsey
and
is
they're
so.
like, what do you mean? I was like, all they're doing is scrumming.
Yep.
Because obviously David's rugby playing at
Yep.
UNI and,
Yep.
and I'm basically a professional rugby
analyst.
now.
Yes. You are a rugby aficionado.
'Cause I've been
breaking down the
watching
film.
David Randall play at UNI for so long, but I have learned a ton.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can tell that's all they're doing.
It's all about the leverage down there, and they've got, and obviously other teams have tried it and they can't do it as well. And obviously Hurts makes a big difference.
Well, he benches 700 pounds with his legs.
Something like that. Yeah.
Have you when's the last time you were at David's rugby game?
I haven't made it this fall because I've been out of town both times, and he's playing this weekend up in Wisconsin. So no, I saw him last spring, obviously, but yeah.
So I ended up going down and watching him play in Chicago. Remember that?
Yep, he's got the thighs like.
Yeah, he's a rugby player.
Right. Yeah, and you would have never thought that when he was
doing plays at 6 years old.
Yeah, or 8 or 9 years old. You would never thought he would have that great physique to be a rugby player. But yeah, he's really kind of developed.
He was like
into
a movie buff there for a while.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But so I was able. Heather called me one time last year. It was last year. I'm pretty sure of it. She's like, "This is a long shot, but David's playing rugby in Chicago. He's got like 3 or 4, matches or games or whatever they call them." And
I think
she's
they're called matches. Yeah, they're not called
matches.
games. They're
That's why I said that.
they're matches. Yep. It's like soccer. They're matches.
So, and I was like, no, there's no way I could do that. And within 30 minutes, because I went and talked to Olive, and I'm like, this sounds kind of fun, actually.
Yeah.
And she's like, you should go. And so I called Heather back. I was like, yeah, actually, I think I can go. And so Heather and I hung out and watched David. One of them got like forfeited because they were like, yeah, we're not going to do so. And then I went and watched him, and I never forget. I was like, my neighbors could care less, but I'm like texting them going, it's 72-0, like 86-0. They're like, is there a forfeit rule here? And the other team refused to forfeit. It was amazing.
Right. And one thing about rugby that when you score, you get it's crazy how you kind of get the ball. And if you just keep scoring and keep scoring and keep scoring, it can go forever if you can't stop them. It's good. Yeah, and they've won this fall. They've won every match. 70.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, so they're in the regional semifinals, I think, this weekend in Wisconsin, and so then they'll, because a couple of years ago they made it to the nationals and so on and so forth. So yeah, they're definitely at a different level in terms of club rugby around here. They're so much better than anybody that they can find until they kind of get a little bit further on in the national tournament. So
especially watching David on the team, it's fun because
he's probably
like this,
yep.
And he's always the guy, his fat ass and thick legs, holding over the ball, waiting for them to do the scrum or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh,
David's you need to get some rugby gear. You need to get some UNI rugby gear. Everybody around.
Oh, I have plenty of it.
Okay, you do. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
In fact, the back of my computer.
Oh, you've got From the Woods. There we go. UNI rugby. There you go.
Oh yeah, that's the back of my work computer.
Yeah.
Pretty sure people look at me like I have 3 heads when they see that thing flip up. But
okay, do you have an interesting fact or anything like that to share?
Well, so
I have a statistic for you here.
Yeah, okay. No, I want to hear this because
okay.
We had talked about
Yep. So I
have a story behind one of these.
so it's part of it's what's on your phone. So I got a couple of things maybe to share on my phone then too. But so you get on Instagram or watching whatever, and then I take a snap of goofy stuff. So this is one statistic that was posted: 44% of marriages end in divorce. Okay, the other side of that is 50%, 56% of marriages end in death. so,
I don't even know what to think of that. Like, I don't even know.
so yeah, they end in divorce, but
8% or 6% of people actually
but the
live
rest
their
of
life.
them, someone dies along the way. That the marriage end in death. You know,
What percentage of that is murder? Do we
yeah,
know?
well, I mean, yeah, or Dateline, yeah, or something like that too.
I
So
watch too much freaking Dateline.
yeah, we do too. So it's a family addiction. So Sharon and I watch it about every Friday night. I know Heather's really addicted to Dateline. We tape it and watch it, and it's like, is it new? Is it new? Have we seen it before? That's
thing.
kind of the conversation. So
did you remember that serial killer that got loose?
yep.
Yeah, so that guy was like a couple miles from my house when they caught him.
Yeah.
Like they were shutting down roads by my house. Like it was one of those things.
And
So-
did they lock down the girls to school or not?
They actually did. No recess. They locked out the schools, everything. And I was pretty impressed. Like if he wasn't a serial killer, I would have been rooting him on, but he kind of did some stupid stuff, you know, like. But if he was just like a car thief or something, I would have been like, hell yeah, dude, let me help you.
Yeah.
You know, like, but he was a, he's kind of a bad guy. But I swear to God, like it was one of those things where I like went to go to the grocery store at midday and I was like, I should probably lock the back door.
Yeah. You just never know. Just never know.
Like,
I'd like to see him get up on the top of
Well, no, we have stairs out. So we did throw a little gathering that evening when they were looking for him to, invite him to our home.
Right. Have the light on for him.
Yeah. So we never found him, but it was interesting. I got pictures. I think I sent them to you. Pictures of the roadblocks and all that stuff. It was something else. They found him not far from that. I'm not sure how I got on that subject, but it something else.
All right. So the other thing I have on my phone is that we're in South Dakota. We're at the homecoming for South Dakota State, and so all the student organizations, have their different floats or whatever. It's a farming school, so you got ag and you got this combine and that. But there was also this TSS 23, the Taylor Swift Society Club.
Yeah, no, my favorite.
Yeah, and so your niece Callie is a big T Swizzle fan, so I sent that to her and said she needs to start one there at Iowa State, and so she says she's on it. So maybe we can get an update.
Well, Callie May is going to start a Taylor Swift fund at Iowa State.
That's what she said. That's what she's claiming she's going to do. So.
Well, I might have to block her out of my life. I'm pretty tired of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. To be honest, like.
Right.
I really want nothing to do with that. I
don't
care. And
I don't care if she's at the game. I really don't. It really doesn't.
I mean, I think we're kind of alone on that.
That's right.
A lot of people seem to freaking care.
Yeah, they do. They do seem to care quite a bit.
So, Chad, I got to ask you something. So, you're a music guy, right?
Try to be.
Yeah. Are you a movie guy?
I don't watch movies now on a regular basis. I know enough. I know what if you gave me a movie title, I could probably tell you what it was probably about, but I don't have
So I figured you were a movie guy.
No.
Because I remember we were in San Diego and we were driving down the road and somehow we're like, name this tune, and you named it.
Right. Yeah. The music wise, I'm pretty good from certain areas of time. If you remember when we were a kid,
well,
the radio or the record player of the album was on in the house all the time. So mom had Barry Manilow or Willie Nelson or Anne Murray was always going on in the house. And then you go to the garage and dad always had the radio on. So I know that music and obviously all the music that I kind of grew up with and stuff like that too. So yeah, I can, my kids can be amazed and, are impressed by some of my music recall, but you get me
Well, I was
beyond
impressed.
22.
I think we are on a road trip or something. You called like every song, every 80
Right.
song.
I can do
song.
that, but I also cheat because now I have my own Spotify account, and every song that's on the Spotify account I put on there. So I should know most of those, right? So
I play like 3 stations, like that's it.
so when you're doing all this traveling, so what do you listen to?
I'll do podcasts. Like
Okay.
I like to learn how to kill people on
Oh.
crime
Oh,
podcasts.
you do those ones. Okay. All right.
Every once in a while, I'll do one to make me more intelligent. Not too often do I do that, but
Yeah.
if I feel like I haven't made my worth for the day, I'll put on like a podcast on how to be a better person or something.
Oh, see, yeah, you're a lot more you have a lot
Yeah,
more
but
depth
I
than
also
me do.
spend like this week, I spent a lot of time in the car.
Yeah. And I'm a big podcast guy too, and I listen. It's exclusively sports. It's all sports all the time.
Well, so
yeah. So
I'm not proud of this, but I sure like that Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
And it's not a political thing. He just has the most interesting guests on there ever.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like these guys, like military or like MMA, like it's all over the place, and they just have a blast. So,
yeah.
I think it's called the Rogan Experience.
Yep, the Rogan. Yep, I've listened to some of it. I know CJ has that one, and he likes the Barstool guys too. I know that's a big one that he likes then too. So that's more.
Truth be told, I send CJ way too many TikToks throughout the day.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's nothing wrong with that.
I think he's more mature than I am.
Well, I think he tries to be. He tries to be.
I doubt he is. But
yeah. Well, depends on the moment then with that too. So,
but I don't know.
Did you have something you wanted to share, or you got some other goofy stuff going on?
Yeah. So talking about movies. So I got thinking about this. And so I like too many stupid movies. like a lot of stupid movies.
So when you say stupid movies, this is what comes to mind to me. That's
where I think we're going to be a
little bit right because and then maybe they're not, but they're ones that I personally find some humor in, but don't necessarily love, like Dumb and Dumber. Most of the early Adam Sandler movies, I find some value to, but I just don't like, I love them type of thing.
What's your favorite funny movie?
Oh, it's Caddyshack. There's no doubt about it. Caddyshack and Animal.
This is where we're different.
Yeah, I'm just 8. It's Caddyshack and Animal House. Those are the top 2 comedies for me. And so you are, again, got to keep in mind that we are 8 years apart. And
we're like, I'm like old school Talladega Nights. Like,
right.
I'm gonna hop over this,
which I like.
Up on Mountain Dew, I'm gonna kick your ass, Chip. I'm like one of those.
So that one to me is not a stupid movie. But when he starts to get like Anchorman, I didn't get some of it. That's
my favorite movie.
Anchorman is okay. All right, so.
Anchorman 1. Now my favorite trilogy is by far Back to the Future. Anchorman 1 is my favorite movie, though.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
In fact, I have a picture. When we were in San Diego for our little thing at work. I have a picture with a guy dressed up as Anchorman.
Okay. All right.
No, it's a real thing.
I've just only seen it once, so some of the lines are ones you just hang on to. That's for sure.
But you watch it 65% of the time, and you'll love it 100% of the time. Something like that.
Whatever. Yeah, something like that. So you have one of the things that you want to say, best movie scenes that come to mind.
Yeah, so I'm kind of curious what yours is.
So
best movie scene.
So I'm a Top Gun guy.
So yes, I didn't even bring up those.
So Top Gun for
like the
me,
new Top Gun. The new Top Gun.
See, now I got when we went to it, and all my kids, and so Sharon and I and CJ and Kenzie, and we took Maggie and we went to the new one, and they came out, oh, that's so much better than the original. I'm like, man.
It really was, Chad. For all the fans out there watching, now that we have fans like all three of you, watch the new Top Gun.
Right. So to me,
Okay.
the opening scene of Top Gun is one of because it's the music. Just when they start playing the music and they're landing the aircraft and they're taking off and all that
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
That to me, that's just
It'll
that's a
take-
make me feel good movie in terms of a quality cinema. I don't know about that, but it's one of those ones that I really like the opening scenes in most of the but for some reason maybe when I saw the original Top Gun, Dad and I actually went to it. That was a movie I distinctly remember Dad and I going to was Top Gun, the original one. So yeah.
So Chad, I don't know if you know this. We went to San Diego this year and went and saw our friends Dan and Laura.
Yeah.
Well, they built around the house, the Top Gun house. So
Oh, really?
if you saw those pictures of us around that weird
Yep.
house, that was the Top Gun
Oh, it was the
house.
Top Gun heist. That was
Yeah,
her
so
house.
we were having beers around the Top Gun house in the hotel or whatever it was around it and taking pictures around it. But they kept the house.
Right. And I
You know?
remember when you were finishing up boot camp too. I think we drove through we drove through the area, but I don't think
Oceanside. We were in Oceanside. Yeah, we
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. So I distinctly remember that, but I don't think it was commercialized as it was. Okay, so we got about 2.5 minutes left. So I want to give you your time to state one of your favorite scenes of a movie.
So one of my favorite scenes is not known by everyone. So it's a movie called The Goods. You ever heard of that movie?
I have not heard of The Goods.
I think it's Jeremy Piven
Okay.
He's like lead guy. He's the entourage guy. So anyways, if Chad, this is a write down movie.
Yep, I got it. I wrote it down. The Goods.
A bunch of used car sales, like they're trying to save used car dealerships, and it's a crew that comes in, and it's like it's as good as old school but better because you don't know about it. There's like cameos with Will Ferrell, and my favorite scene is when they introduce themselves in the lobby. I won't go into it.
Okay.
But Babs talks about how ghetto she was, and when you die, poop leaves the body, and all this stuff. It's something else. It's wildly inappropriate.
Yeah.
Oh my God! If you want a good movie and you like Talladega Nights, Brothers, oh my
Step
God.
Brothers, yep, right up there.
Oh my
with that,
God! I'm telling you right now,
The Goods.
Yep.
Okay, I'll have to scroll because I have we have Netflix, we've got Amazon.
Well, it's on there. I promise you.
I'm sure it's on there somewhere. So
Yeah.
okay, all right. So the last thing we got about a minute left is to our wide range of audience, we're trying to find a name for what we're doing here, and so I went to the Iowa game with Christopher, and one of the names I kicked around was Same Mother, Different Brothers, but we're open to lots of suggestions, and we will give some sort of prize, some sort of acknowledgement
high perceived value. Gift of high perceived value.
of perceived value. Okay, all right.
Yeah, perceived is the
Perceived.
hell. We might even have you on the show. If
That's
you want.
right. So be waiting for the call from the Christopher brothers.
Hey, so if you don't know how to get a hold of us, then you're probably not the right person to suggest how to.
and you're not listening. That's for sure. So that's for sure. So
to all three of you listening, thank you.
that's right. Well, say hi. Everybody say hi, Mom. Hi, Mom. How you doing? Talk
Mom
to you
and
soon.
Dad, and then whoever the third one is.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. All righty. All right. I think that's it. We're done there, buddy.
All right, we'll see you, man.
See ya.